The 2012 Santos Tour Down Under has had it all.
Andre wins it for Lotto.
Oh, there's a big crash.
Mass pile up there and dust all over the place. Greipel comes clear. He has taken the stage.
In the crowd, they realise they've witnessed something extremely special.
Andre Greipel is going to get this by the skin of his racing tyre. Oscar Freira's got on the right of our picture. Freira gets it.
Today, Old Willunga's first ever hilltop finish is set to blow the race apart.
Willunga finish has opened it up to more so to guys like myself.
We're going to protect him all the way to the foot of Willunga, and then it's up to him.
It's going to be an intense climb. It's going to be very fast. If anyone's willing to really throw out some major playing cards, then obviously it's going to happen there.
It's up to how fast you can climb that bloody hill.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Epic Cycle series presented by Michelob Ultra. I'm Phil Liggett and joined as always by Paul Sherwin. There are 2 days to go in the Santos Tour Down Under near Adelaide in South Australia. This is stage 5, sponsored by Jayco, taking the riders from McLaren Vale, the famous wine region here, to the top of the Old Willunga Hill. 151 kilometres, that's about 90 miles, and it's going to be a beautifully warm day with a real sting in the tail.
Yes, I think all the riders after the race yesterday started to realise that maybe this year the Santos Tour Down Under is not going to be a sprinter's delight. That's why we had a tough day yesterday, and I'm sure we'll see a very fast start to today's stage.
Thank you.
Michael Matthews there, the best young rider in the competition, as Mark Renshaw also signs in, and Greipel no longer to be reckoned with in this race.
Yes, I think he laid down arms yesterday and decided the better part of Vale was to wait until the final day, the big sprint, and he was actually battling on stage 4, Phil, to try and get himself a few points here and there and a few time bonuses. He seemed fairly happy with first place at the first Jayco sprint point, but when he came to the finish line, he was more than 7 minutes adrift.
His race was done. The current leader now is Martin Kohler. He's in Switzerland. He is the reigning national time trial champion. He faces his biggest day as a professional today, and I wonder if he'll be up to it. Well, let's ask him and find out.
We have different cards to play. Of course, our goal is to have the jersey also after this stage.
Often big groups will come back together after the top of the climb because it's still around 20 kilometres to the finish. But this year, finishing on the top, it's got the best climbers and guys with the best legs will win the stage and the tour.
We're looking down here now on the Old Willunga Hill area. We're in the McLaren Vale here for the start of stage 5 of the Santos Tour Down Under. The battle of the Old Willunga Hill. Paul, we often talk of the Queen stage in a big time bike race. It means the tough one, and this is it.
Yes, it comes from the Spanish L'Etapa Arena. Well, the Jayco stage 5 from McLaren Vale all the way to Willunga Hill, 151 kilometres, but it's all about Aldinga Beach to begin with, and the wind is going to buffet the riders as they go on 3 laps around there before finally bringing themselves back into Willunga for the ascent of Old Willunga Hill. They'll go around the first time, and then they'll do a circuit to bring them into Willunga before finally climbing up this ascent for the final top, the first mountain top finish of this race.
And indeed, the history of it goes back now 14 years. Each year the riders say, can you make it a little bit harder but not too hard? Well, that's exactly what the organiser has done. Mike Turter, as the gun fires off, the action begins here. There's blue skies right out across the ocean now. There was a bit of cloud on top of the Willunga Hill when we came in early this morning, and I have to say it's an atmosphere with the chill air like we were sitting on top of an alpine mountain in the Tour de France.
And as we get away from that story, not a surprise to see the attacks coming very early on from Uni SA.
Absolutely. This has been a brilliant team guided by Dave Saunders from Victoria, the coach of the year 2011 of all sports, and he's had a very successful run at the moment. They've also got Rowan Dennis on the squad, who rides as leader of the Skoda King of the Mountains. So he's riding a white jersey with green spots on it. Now, Garmin also getting in on the act here, because that is Nathan Hart, Haas swinging over to the left of our picture, quickly taking over is Stuart O'Grady, and followed by Matteo Trontin, the Amiga Farmer quick-step rider. Now, this is what we expected. They're going to try and lift this pace.
Well, these attacks will come thick and fast until all of a sudden a breakaway does get formed at the front. And if it's the right combination, they will allow it some freedom in the early part of the race before the teams who want to win this bike race overall start to get themselves organised before the first ascent of Willunga Hill.
Looking here at Thomas de Gent driving on the brake at the moment, as the rider there from AG2R continues to help the pace with him, and I think that is Christophe Godard in the dark colours. Nathan Haas has got himself up here as well, and Stuart O'Grady now. He's up for it, as he always is. These are the roads he spent his whole life training on throughout his career. There is the man in the hot seat. It's an ochre-coloured jersey in the Santos Tour Down Under, whereas it's a yellow jersey in the Tour de France, a pink jersey in the Tour of Italy, etc. And he leads, Martin Kohler leads this race by just 2 seconds. There's no way he can consider himself the winner of this race yet. But indeed, for the second time this week, he's pulled on the leader's jersey, and chatting there with Alejandro Valverde in the middle is the new Australian champion at Green Edge, Simon Gerrans. Our money's on him, Paul Schoen and me, but we'll be lucky if he pulls it off, because there are so many can challenge him today. Brian O'Grady on the front. On the left-hand side of the road there. Well, it must be a big figure, Paul, because he's making sure they all see it.
Well, hopefully
here
we'll
we
get
go.
a chance to have a quick look.
6:30, there we are.
6 minutes. 6 minutes and 30 seconds, despite the tempo being made by these riders. Now, what this is doing with the breakaway, and that's probably why Green Edge put Stuart O'Grady into that breakaway, Phil, it's making the race tough. It's making sure that those guys don't get too far off the front and they don't get too clear, because the main field now has been chasing these riders all of the time, and that will really toughen the race up in the last hour of racing, and that will allow everybody to get a big decision made.
It's about 450 meters now from the finishing line. 400. Are they going to sprint it, or are they just going to ride through it and not bother who crosses the line first? I just somehow feel Thomas de Gent won't allow that to happen.
Well, there's Thomas de Gent sliding backwards there. He's on the right-hand side, the rider with the Vacances Soleil written across his shorts, and that's a holiday company in Holland. And although this team is made up pretty much of a mixture of Dutch and Belgian riders, the fastest man on the team is in fact Romain Felu.
No sprint at all, and it's going to be Christophe Godard who goes through and gets the points from Andrew Friend and Stuart O'Grady. So that says it all. They don't feel that this breakaway is going to stay away. Otherwise they might have chased those small time bonuses. More action after the break. You're watching the Epic Cycle Series presented by Michelob Ultra. 3:15. So they are holding but not getting any closer. Hats off to the breakaway. And Dowsett still setting the pace. So we are into Willunga. There is the crowd. This time it'll be straight up the hill for the 6 leaders.
Well, this is real professional cycling at its best here, as you see the organisation in that main field. What a crowd it has turned out here. This is very reminiscent of a mountain stage of the Tour de France.
The boys in Green Edge, the man in the yellow top to his jersey is Simon Gerrans in a perfect position. He may not attack this time. They'll monitor the moves and see who makes them. But it's a race within a race, and there is the gap. We were right. It's down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
That's a race referee there almost immediately. Godard, the rider from AG2R, he's dropped off the back of this group, so the 6-man group now is down to 5. O'Grady is tapping out the rhythm there as we now return to this front of the peloton. It's Durbridge doing all the pacemaking. There, a little bit further back, you see Matty Goss is riding just in front of Gerrans.
As we switch up to see Nathan Haas here now, is he going forward? Judging by the way he's climbing, I think he might be pushing on a bit here.
Yes, he is going forward. He's opened up a gap very smartly over everybody else.
Well, looking at the discovery of last October in Australia, the result was he's been promoted to his World Tour team with Garmin Barracuda, and I think that was a heck of a good call by Jonathan Waters, the owner of that team. There's Stuart O'Grady now. The breakaway has completely imploded on this climb. We expected that. This rider knew he had to make an early move if he could do it, and he's showing us he can do it. He's bringing up a terrific tempo there.
Well, there's the first of the riders in the breakaway to get picked up. That's Goddard. He's back in the fold. But I must say then there's the next rider to come back as well, because that's Miyazawa, the Japanese rider on Team Saxo Bank.
And Nathan Haas is blazing the trail in his first Grand Tour. Well, his first World Tour, and he's on a World Tour professional team now. He was not known to anybody this time last year, and he's only 23. He's got a terrific future ahead of him.
Then all of a sudden, towards the end of the season, this name came up, and it kept coming up. Nathan Haas, the winner of the Sun Tour over in Victoria. Then he went across to Japan to win the Japan Cup as well. And here he's going to be the first rider this afternoon through this sea of people at the top of Old Willunga Hill to get himself maximum points. And now he's got to line himself up, Phil, for the big charge down towards the valley.
So as he comes through now to the cheers of a crowd here, he's got to do it all again. As he makes the turn through the finish, listen to the crowd now. They're driving an Australian here, just like they did to William Clark at Stirling. Give me a drink, got it, on the way. Soon it'll be up through the gears and try to hold off the race. It's a terrific show of defiance by this man. He started with the small Genesis team in Australia. That team has developed him and passed him on to one of the biggest teams in the world. Thomas de Gent will go through second.
Well, he's going to go over in second position and grab himself a bunch of points for the Old Willunga Hill Skoda King of the Mountains classification. I wonder if Stuart O'Grady will survive for third place, because once he gets picked up, Stuart O'Grady will have one thing in the back of his mind. Hang on, mate, hang on for as long as you can, because you're going to be needed by Simon Gerrans in the last approach to this climb.
Exhausted, a well-caught drink. They should play basketball, these guys, and as we now start the way down, the peloton are not far away. It's been a real, and they see they've got Stuart O'Grady as well. They passed him just there at that point. They move round to the left here now. The peloton are going to go through. They're not that far behind, in fact, as they go under the banner here. There is Rowan Dennis, well done, snatching it, and the gap is 54 seconds to Nathan Haas. That's all. So pressure off for the minute. It's freewheel down to the valley, then it's all game on again.
Well, there you might have noticed, Phil, at the side of the road, it said 65 kilometers an hour. I think these guys are in fact breaking the speed limit at the moment, because we're here on the fastest part of the descent. We are probably touching very close to 100 kilometers an hour downhill.
Well, that's okay. We're under control conditions, although I don't think this bunch is very much under control at the moment. That's Hayden Roylston, the Kiwi, who's got to the front now. Hayden Roylston is a rider who is a very, very strong workhorse for Nissan Shack.
Yeah, he's a little bit down in the overall standings. He's working for the team here this afternoon. Number 72, Linus Gerdemann, a former wearer of the yellow jersey in the Tour de France. He's only looking for 12 seconds. And still, Nathan Haas will not give up.
And that's a great attitude.
That is the attitude. It's the winning attitude. He's only got 3 or 4 seconds advantage, Phil. They're right on his wheel here. Very shortly, he'll see the shadows coming by them. It's Radio Shack there on the front from the United States of America. It's all back together now. But look at the gaps behind. That gap behind is dramatic. The winner of the Santos Tour Down Under will come from this group. But what will the name be at the end of the day?
As they're trying another little move here, Danny Pate, they're obviously not quite the climbers we've been naming. There's no reaction from the field.
Now that's a little bit interesting. You see this cat and mouse thing going on. Rowan Dennis has got himself onto the back move there. Now, if they start to play cat and mouse tactics here, this 4-man group could very easily ride off the front. But all of a sudden, I'm not sure that Danny Pate is going to want to contribute, because he's a long way down in the overall standings. The most dangerous man for me is Jose Ivan Gutierrez there, wearing number 92.
This is it on the attack. He's pushing on. Machado trying to hang on, but he's cracked Danny Pate.
Well, Danny Pate's cracked. That was a Madrazo starting to come across. You've now got 2 riders from Team Movistar halfway across the gap. Now watch out, Phil, for the move, if it's going to come from Alejandro Valverde, to jump across to his 2 teammates and try to set something up for the finish.
And now the others are trying to put matters to rights here. The Movistar team, their plan is being thrown around a little bit, because Madrazo has come up to Gutierrez, but we still haven't seen Valverde make his move. As the camera picks up Michael Rogers, he's trying to go clear now. Sky are laying down a foundation here. Well, they fooled us because we thought it was all for Edward Boysenhagen, and here's Michael Rogers now gone to the front to see if he can... You know, I think a number of the riders we expected have said, hey, we can't do it, and they've had to reverse their plans, because I'm sure this was not the plan by Sky for Michael.
No, it was all for Bosenhagen, but if Bosenhagen's got bad legs on a hard day like this, he maybe just gave the nod to Mickey Rogers to say, look, Mickey, you could win this bike race if you've got the legs on the slopes of this climb. This is where the decision to win the race is going to happen right now in the next 2 kilometers.
There's Valverde moved into second wheel, but I don't think he's left enough time. There's the leaders up there. It's close, desperately close. They must be amazed at how strong these two riders are up front. Simon Gerrans still on the wheel of Valverde here. It's not too late yet, as gripping on the back wheel of Gerrans is Boysenhagen. The top 3 men we thought would be the animators are still on the defensive.
Well, Valverde is using his teammate Javier Moreno. They're right there now. They're getting that acceleration. Movistar, Phil, is one of the top teams in the world.
The cream has returned to the top because the big names are back up here. Moreno has killed himself to do it. Now it's going to be up to the second green helmet of Alejandro Valverde. And for my money, Cadel Evans, number 4, Simon Gerrans, is in a perfect position to win this race.
Well, Alejandro Valverde, let's not forget, Phil, he hasn't raced for about 2 years now. He's been suspended. He's been on the sidelines. He might not have that explosive nature that he used to have a couple of seasons ago. Gerrans looks nervous, looks ready to make the move. Almost got caught on the wrong side of Valverde's wheel there. They're leaving this all up to Movistar. Mickey Rogers is there, just sitting on the back 41. Eddie Bosenhagen, he packs a good sprint, but he's not looking that comfortable for the moment. Not quite as comfortable as Gerrans.
Machado is now being joined by Bakelans, his teammate at the back too. He's also in for a high finish here. But who is going to take out this sprint as they line themselves up for the end now? Simon Gerrans, a winner of 3 Grand Tour stages in Spain, Italy and France, does pack a very good sprint finish, especially after a tough climb like this. Well, Moreno has done all he can for Alejandro Valverde. He's absolutely laid himself on the road, and to try and take his man to the top. Now it's shortly going to be after number 91 there. Valverde once beat Lance Armstrong in the Tour de France in a sprint finish in Courchevel. Armstrong asked who on earth was the Spanish sprinter. Well, we're going to find out soon. Michael Rogers has come up alongside Valverde. Valverde Rogers, but watch for number 4 now. Lining up is Simon Gerrans, the Aussie champion, in 3rd place. Can Green Edge pull off their first big win here in the Grand Tour? Rogers is giving his all now as Boysenhagen unhitches at the back. He looks set to lose time. Gerrans has gone. Valverde is after him. You won't catch Gerrans. Simon Gerrans drives home towards the line. He might actually. We still have to go left around this corner. Valverde has got him on the edge here. This was the story. Alessandro Valverde takes it on the line. He beats Simon Gerrans on the line. Well, what an incredible return. We said it from day one. Valverde and Movistar were planning the battle of the old Willunga, and it looked as though he'd lost it on the way up, but he came back thanks to Moreno, his teammate, and he pulled off the sprint of his life there. Alejandro Valverde back from suspension, back in the big time here in South Australia. He's taken the shine a little bit away from Simon Gerrans there, but Gerrans is not out of this hunt at all. No, he most certainly is not. In the end, it became a battle of the current Australian champion versus the former Spanish champion. Valverde got up to the move very late on the climb, but when he was there, he really did turn on the style. Heading to the final left-hand corner, it looked to be advantage Gerrans, who was round on the inside, the shorter of the way. But then over the top of him came Alessandro Valverde, his first day back from suspension, and he is the winner on the day. Well, that was a great sprint by Valverde. He once did that to Lance Armstrong at the top of Courchevel in the Tour de France. Well, as soon as he crossed the line, Paul Schoen was waiting for him. Let's hear what he's got to say for himself now.
Well, Phil, I'm here with Alejandro Valverde. I'm going to do my best to try and interview him in Spanish, as he's been greeted by all of his teammates who've done a phenomenal job here this afternoon. Alejandro,
this is your first victory since May 18, 2 years ago, on the Tour of Romania.
Sí,
Yes, I'm really happy. I still don't believe it. So I just want to say thanks to everybody that has always supported me.
Yes, the emotion there of being suspended for the best part of 2 years all coming out. Valverde is back as a winner. Simon Guerin, same time. 2 seconds back to Machado. 4 seconds to Michael Rogers, who also put up a great ride today. Massive crowd down there welcoming on stage Alejandro Valverde. Well, he's equal on time, believe it or not, in the overall situation. 2 riders are going to battle it out in Adelaide now. This is what happened earlier in the day as the moves came. A late runaway by Nathan Haas on the climb. It looked good for a while, but there was another battle in progress, and that was the one for the next ochre jersey of this race. They swept him up just about 7 miles out from the finish. Then came the final climb of the old Willunga Hill and the shoulder-to-shoulder battle of Simon Guerin and Alejandro Valverde. Well, on countback, the new leader of the Tour will be Simon Guerin.
We were talking to your team management last night, and they were concerned about one man, Alejandro Valverde, and it seemed to be that you were keeping a very close eye on him today.
Yeah, I was a little bit outnumbered there coming into the old Willunga Hill for the last time, and Valverde had the most teammates there, and he was looking very good, so I really marked him in those last couple of Ks there and just tried to jump him on the line, but unfortunately had the strength just to come back past me again and put us equal on time.
That's exactly right, Simon. Nothing in it after 5 days of racing. Guerin and Valverde locked together. 8 seconds back to Tiago Machado, and really, to me, that those 3 will fight out the win tomorrow. That wraps it up now for stage 5, but be sure to tune in to our coverage of the final stage of the Santos Tour Down Under tomorrow. It will come to you at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Epic Cycle Series, presented by Michelob Ultra. For a full cycling schedule, log on to our website at nbcsports.com. For Paul Sherwin, I'm Phil Liggett saying so long for now.